Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick from Practically Tactical. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So, for all those that have been keeping track on the show and podcast, myself and Jesse are headed down to Steve Fisher Sentinel Concepts Home Defense Shoe House class in Alliance, Ohio here shortly. But I thought what we both thought we'd like to do is maybe go over the gear that we're going to be running and kind of show you guys, here's the gear that we run. Maybe there's some gear you guys might be interested in, or maybe you've never taken a shoe house class and not sure what gear to take. So we're going to go over Jesse's gear here, and then I'm going to do another video going over my gear. So Jesse, first off, maybe before we get to all the stuff on the table, there might maybe some other things that you should wear before we talk about all the gear, right?
No, definitely. I think it really starts with what you're actually wearing on your person. So, I mean, you want to be as comfortable as possible. You're going to be out there for a lot of hours. You're going to be out in the elements. A lot of it is uneven terrain. So it really comes down to your footwear, You want a good pair of closed-toed shoes, athletic type, maybe some boots that you can move around comfortably all day in. So I like to wear Solomon's, but it's pretty much personal preference. The next step is going to be nice clothing. You want to wear nice loose clothing. Yep. You want to be able to move in it. You want it to be able to wick away sweat, possibly.
I would say also make sure you don't wear clothes that absorb and just cling it in, hold it in. So like maybe a nice Under Armour shirt or some sort of like Nike. They all have special names for it, but something that takes the sweat and removes it, because you're going to have a lot of gear on, depending on different classes, that you need to get rid of that sweat.
Yeah, for classes, I strictly wear Endo just because, it also helps with your shooting ability. Shameless plug there.
Yeah. Or Inkfidel. Inkfidel as well.
Nice.
Both make you shoot better.
That's true.
Tactical shirts make you
shoot
better.
It's all about being an operator.
That's right.
So,
but something else, too, which we should probably recommend is sunscreen.
Yeah.
If you bring sunscreen.
Yeah, definitely. And I would touch on that, definitely. The next step is a good belt. You're going to want something that's going to hold up all this weight that you're going to have on you all day. I rock SOE. Tough Products is another great belt. There's a lot of good companies out there making belts. Aries for sure, I highly recommend. So just a good belt. Next part is going to be sunglasses. For me, I have a set of ESS. I really like them. They're actually sitting right there on that bag if you want to grab them quick. So the nice part about these is, for me, you can interchange the lenses. So I like to be able to put in my clears. Sometimes it gets cloudy, gets rainy out there. I've also got a set of ambers, which work well in that low light. They also work well even in the sun. So that's when you don't really have to switch between. Yeah, just a good set of Ear Pro. Also, when I'm on the square range, something along those lines, that's where I like to have. A set of dedicated Ear Pro. Otherwise,
those are the Howard lights.
Yeah, these are the Howard lights here.
Everybody has them.
True. For $42, you can't go wrong. I'm actually thinking about, I'll probably pick up a pair of the Peltor Tactical 100S, something along those lines. But I believe you can put the gel cups on them for another $50, and that's when you're wearing the eye Pro all day. That's really where it's at.
Yeah, if you have a set of Ear Pro that can take gel cups, spend the $40, $50, whatever it is. It's going to be one of the best purchases you've ever bought.
Definitely. The next thing, like Nick said, sunscreen. You're out there all day in the elements, and we see it all the time. The guys that don't jump with sunscreen, they walk away just a lobster at the end of the day.
If you're bald and you wear, like a Howard lights, we've seen it all the time where there's sunburn red, and then there's just a white stripe across the head. So I think, yeah, sunscreen is huge.
Definitely. We like to bring a big cooler, keep our snacks, our Gatorade, all our drinks in there, keep them nice and cold. And
Yep.
Some people bring nice, like tarp setups, so they can get some shade under there, some, camping type chairs. But other than that, we'll get into the gear, maybe a baseball cap too. I forgot to mention that. That usually helps keep the sun out of the eyes.
With patches. Get a lot of patches.
Helps deflect some of the brass flying at the face once in a while.
But let's start with your gun. What gun do you
Definitely. So for the home defense course, primarily I'll be running a handgun. This will be my Glock 19 here. This is the 4 City Tactical Special. It's got the OC custom trigger. Titanium nitrided barrel by 4 City, and 10-8 sights with an in-force APL on there. And yeah, I think we'll actually be doing a video on the APL, so check that out for some of the thoughts I have on that. Besides that, I like to bring a good set of gloves.
Especially in Alliance, Ohio. You're gonna need gloves in Alliance, Ohio. They have the train, what do they call it?
Yeah, railroad ties.
Railroad ties made out of wood, splinters throughout the whole place. So gloves are definitely a must at Alliance, Ohio.
Right. These are mechanics here. Otherwise, SKD, pig gloves, them are great gloves as well. The next thing I bring, holster setup. So I run it a couple different ways. Depending on the class, it comes down to, basically that. I like to, if I can, carry how I carry on a daily basis. Sometimes the gear that we're wearing prohibits that. A lot of these shoot house classes, home defense classes, you do have to wear armor. So that kind of gets in the way of me being able to appendix carry in certain situations. So for those classes, I either like to run just a regular outside the waistband. This is a Force City Tactical Delta Spark for Glock 19 Enforce. And then also a double mag carrier on the opposite side. Otherwise, once in a while I'll get into the battle belt setup. And I really haven't run into a class where I've actually ran this yet. Again, I like the fact of having the medical. It's quick to put on and off. But for most of these home defense classes, it's kind of how you carry. So for me, obviously the gun sits on the nightstand in the middle of the night. And it's basically going to be me carrying it around. I'm doubtful going to have a spare mag with me. If I do, it'll just be my spare EDC mag sitting there. So that's how I like to run these classes. But for you, if you want to actually run all your kit, or you keep a battle belt next to the bed, this is a good option. Primarily, I just bring this along because I have my medical pouch on here, and I like to bring medical to these classes as just a backup. Most classes have medical on hand, but
and I think something too is really important too is, yeah, if you can carry, if you can do the class how you carry, do that. It's just invaluable training. Like if you could run a shoot house class appendix, that'd be great.
Definitely.
Because working on the draw. But again, your plate carrier gets in the way of that, so you can't do that.
True.
But if you can run a class how you carry, I think that we'd both say that's the way to go.
Yeah, definitely. But like he was saying, it's dependent on the class. Some of these actually require armor depending what you're doing. So I guess next we'll segue into the actual carrier that I'll be wearing for this class. And as you can see now, I have the D3 attached, but for the class I will actually not be running that on there. I would just like to keep that on there in stow mode. I like to just run it slick as possible. I keep nothing but just a couple swag patches on there. And yeah, this is the Mayflower APC here. A great carrier. I mean, we'll get into a review on that later, but yeah, just I've got some steel level 3 plates in there. I honestly don't even remember the company. I'm sure they're not even around anymore. But I mean, the nice part about these plates that I can kind of say is they have a little bit of padding on them.
No, those are really nice pads. It's unfortunate I don't think that company's around anymore. They still have a website up. I don't think they're doing anything. But yeah, these plates, the actual padding on, they have a specific name for it. I can't remember, but these are actually really nice plates.
Yeah, and what they do is they give it a nice sappy curve to it, so they actually fill up most plate carriers, being a steel plate, and they're actually a little bit larger than most plates, so they just give you a little more surface area. But yeah, we'll get into that another time as well. So next setup, man, this is the biggest thing about the class here, and this is the loader. I think this is the Ola loader here. Yeah.
Whatever, spend the money on it.
Yeah, definitely, right here. I mean, you're going to be jamming mags all day long, and this thing is invaluable. So bring it, otherwise you'll be borrowing someone's there, and you'll bring one the next time, for sure. For me, I like to bring a backup gun if possible. Also, a secondary concealed carry gun if that's how you run once in a while. If you're going to have that on you, it's important to train with it. So for me, I'll be bringing Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm as well. Spare mags. I like to bring, obviously extra mags just because it helps class flow, it helps things progress faster. Most classes have a minimum of mags that they're going to want you to have. Most of the time it's about 3 mags, but I suggest 5. 5 is a good point to have for your mags, at least 5 per.
Show up loaded, show them with them already loaded up, ready to go.
Definitely, and yeah, you'll just jam them from there. I'll be bringing a handheld light as well in case we were working low light stuff. This is just my EDC light, so this stays in my pocket all the time as well. But it's important, especially if you've taken low light, you'll know you'll want more light.
Yep.
Like I said, depending on the class, this might be another setup. This is an actual Alpha Ignite from Force City Tactical as well. And this is inside the waistband mag carrier. This is my EDC setup, so when possible, I actually like to run that. For this class, be running the Armacore ballistic helmet. And this is actually on loan from Ironforge Concepts right now. And they're the makers of these Sarah mounts for the arc rails here. And these allow for integrated ear pro. And yeah, just, I mean, a great helmet. This is a great budget option. We'll be doing a review on this as well, so check that out. I mean, this is the way to run it. You got your nods mount for all your GoPro. We can run lights and everything on here, so I'll be running this in the class as well, just as a little T&E, and it's required for some of it. PID markers. So if you're doing any low light stuff, it's important to have PID markers. And what these are just simple glow sticks. You put them on the back of you. It tells the guy you're friendly. It shows people where you're at. So that's important as well. And also cleaning kit. This is the MS cleaning kit here, and just, you know, it's got rods, it's got everything you need in case your gun goes down. And that's another thing. I would recommend spare parts, you know. For me, I like to bring a couple of extra fiber optic rods in case that falls out. And, you know, a couple of your internal springs that have a high wear, you know, count on them. So, besides that, I mean, can you think of anything I missed that you'll be bringing along?
No.
Notepad. There's another one that I did miss right there. If you don't have the ability to GoPro and actually record the entire training segment, then definitely bring a notepad and a pen. No one's gonna, you know, look down on you for taking notes for sure. They want you to ask questions.
I ran a GoPro and I took notes, so that's fine. I would highly recommend that as well.
Yeah. Besides that, I think that's pretty much the loadout that I will be bringing a couple rifles, and I guess I can go over them quick. I'll be bringing, this is my AR pistol here, which you'll probably see later in an in-depth kind of go over. But I'm going to be running this, and also then I will be bringing my normal just carbine as well. I'll be running this. Just a few runs through, and we've got kind of a pre-day as well. I'm just hanging out with Steve. So, I mean, besides that, you know, just a couple good backpacks I'll be bringing along, and, you know, little stuff like that. But that's pretty much what I got. No,
I think that, yeah, if you have all of this stuff, you're going to be good to go. And again, if you guys got any questions, or, you know, maybe you have some sort of gear that you're going to take in a shoot house class, like, oh, is this good enough, or what do you guys think about bringing this or that? Put it down below in the comments. We'd love to answer those questions for you. I know Jesse will definitely take a look at it.
Definitely. And I should mention, like, don't think you need all of this gear to go. Like I said, the minimum you're going to definitely need is, you know, a good firearm, a good belt for sure, you know, and good footwear, and probably a couple spare mags. I mean, if you don't have armor, you don't have a helmet, no problem. Get in touch with the instructor, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to have loaner stuff for you to use. You know, I use a loaner helmet 99% of the time, you know, just because, again, things get expensive. You're there spending the money for the ammo, for the class, the travel, and they understand that too. So they have no problem loaning you guys gear. So
no, get to the class. That's the most important thing. Do what you can to get to the class, because again, as Steve talks about often, is, you know, we're in containers all the time, and you got to know how to work within those containers. And again, if you want to know more about that, check out the show when Steve is on, or come to a class. So over the link down below to Sentinel Concepts. It's going to be an awesome time at the class.
Can't wait.
Hopefully we'll even meet Pat Rogers over there, and it's going to be a good time. So again, Jesse, thanks for bringing a whole truckload of gear and sharing it with us. And again, you guys see a lot more of this gear in videos from the class as well. So again, if you guys got any questions, put it down below. Be sure to subscribe so you guys don't miss any videos that we do with Steve or at the Shoot House class. And me and Jesse are doing a lot more videos on a bunch of different gear as well. So Jesse, dude, thanks for coming on, sharing your gear. You guys out there, I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.